As soon as the door opened, he knew he was dead. He could see it in the quickly averted eyes, in the small slump of the shoulders, the nervous, hurried manner as the doctor moved rapidly across the room. So the only real questions that immediately leapt to his mind were, how much time did he have? How bad would it be? He did not have to wait long for the answers. Adrian Thomas watched as the neurologist shuffled his test results before squirreling down behind his large oaken desk. The physician leaned backwards in his chair, then rocked forward before looking up and saying, "The test results rule out most routine diagnoses." Adrian had expected this. MRI, EKG, EEG, blood, urine, ultrasound, brain scan, a battery of cognitive function exams. It had been more than 9 months since he'd first noticed he was forgetting things that were ordinarily easy to remember. A trip to the hardware store where he found himself standing in the light bulb aisle with no idea what he had meant to purchase. A time outside on the main street in town when he'd run into a longtime colleague and had blanked instantly on the name of a man who occupied the office next to his for over 20 years. Then, 6 days earlier, he had spent an entire evening out pleasantly conversing with his long-deceased wife in the living room of the house they had shared since moving to Western Massachusetts. He had even sat in her favorite Paisley Queen Anne chair near the fireplace. When the recognition of what he had done had become clear to him, he had also known that nothing would show up on any computer printout or color photograph of his brain structure. Nevertheless, he had dutifully made an emergency appointment with his internist, who had quickly shipped him off to the specialist. He had patiently answered every question and allowed himself to be poked, prodded, and x-rayed. He had assumed in those first minutes of shocked recognition, after his dead wife had vanished from his sight, that he was simply going crazy, an unscientific and undisciplined way of defining psychosis or schizophrenia. But then he had not felt crazy. He had felt quite good, really. It had been more benign, almost as if the hours spent in talk with someone who had died 3 years earlier was routine and pleasure, a conversation not at all dissimilar to those they had frequently enjoyed in all their years of marriage.